Hello everybody. Probably the first time that you've heard my voice on this channel actually, so hello, welcome. I just did this big illustration for my new avatar for this season. I draw a new one almost every year or so, and I thought we could just hang out and chat and watch it being drawn, and I could talk a little bit about it in my process. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm still getting used to Procreate. I'm still new to it, but I think I'm starting to get the hang of it. I've been playing around a lot with like my background colors and stuff. I find it's very soothing to work on like a paper creamy colored background in like blue or pink pencils. Very nice to do my surface sketch that way. And yeah, like most of my drawings, I just like start with the figure and kind of just figure it out from there. I know most people like figure out the pose first, but a lot of the times I'm just kind of like noodling and sculpting lines and moving things around until I kind of like the result. It's a very like meditative process for me, especially when I'm drawing these self-portrait avatar pieces. The avatar pieces are funny because my intent is always just to make like a tiny little avatar. They always get cropped down to like just your face. So it's kind of silly that I'm drawing like this full-blown illustration, but that's not really like, I don't really approach it like that. It always just kind of like turns into a big thing. And I feel like with every passing year, it's getting more and more elaborate. And it's really funny. I kind of unintentionally constructed this narrative around my avatars. If we go back and look at every avatar that I've drawn of myself, there's this narrative of like this shadow goo stuff just like emerging and crazy stuff like that. There's always an element of space and darkness and the stars, and that's kind of just like stuff that I like, I guess. It's not like a fully conscious thing. It's purely accidental, but at this point I'm kind of just like rolling with it. And so I approach this piece thinking like, okay, well, I guess we're just going to be expounding on that narrative of this growing darkness. And what's interesting about pieces like this is that I kind of just like start drawing without a full plan, and I just figure it out as I go. And it becomes a very like meditative process. I kind of just let my mind go and just fiddle around and do things. You can see that I halfway through my sketch phase, I decided to give the darkness a form, like it's starting to take shape as like a second person. And I attribute that mostly to the fact that I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, and it's very Ronnie the Witch the way I've posed everything out here. What's interesting about these pieces is that because it becomes so like such a meditative process, I end up doing a lot of like self-reflection and stuff like this. I can just let my pencil go and my mind wanders, and I can just think about things and consider things. And a lot of the times those thoughts kind of take form in the drawing itself. But to speak a little bit about my process, during the sketching phase, I keep things mostly loose and then solidify lines as I go, and I subtract with the eraser and I add more with the pencil. I subtract more, adding and subtracting and subtracting. It's a lot like sculpting a lot of the time. I kind of just like scribble down a line, subtract what I don't like, solidify what I do like about that scribble, and so on. And so on, and I just keep doing that until I have a decent shape. And then the liquefy tool is also really helpful to push shapes. And then once all my forms are kind of figured out and the poses are right and I like how everything is framed, I'll go in on like another cleaning pass and just figure out some of the smaller problems, like figuring out how the lines of the arms are kind of interacting with each other. And then once I have, the solid sketch down, I go in and do my my inks. And I'm still mastering the inking process. I still feel like I lose a lot in the inking process. And lately I've been trying to improve, being very thoughtful about how my inking lines are weighted, like where the thick parts are, where the thin parts are. Lately I've been going in and everywhere that there's an intersection, I add just like a tiny bit more volume, just like a couple more pixels. And I think that helps make the line art feel a lot more solid. like everything is kind of a part of a whole. I really like the shape of the swirlies, the darkness goo. In my previous piece, it was a lot more like goo. In this one, it's a lot more like smoke. I guess maybe some of the form of the darkness has been taken up by that humanoid form in the background, and maybe the rest of it's like dissipating. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what the story is here, but I think my heart knows, you know. And then of course after inking we have the coloring, which is kind of like my dreaded phase. I feel like I'm not very good at color. You'll see here I did a first pass on colors. Like I tried to commit to like a purpley palette. I didn't end up liking it. I wasn't sure how to make the gradients interact with the swirlies and how they overlap with each other very well. So I ended up scrapping this version of the color and starting over. And even now, I think my previous avatar piece has a lot more red in it, and I actually kind of missed that, so I might even go in and add more red. But anyway, after scrapping that first pass on the color, I go in and I go to my tried and true monochrome grayscale method. I go in and I figure out where the darkest parts, where the lightest parts, where the middle parts, and fill in like black, gray, white. Although here I used an off-white for the glasses because I still wanted to reserve pure white for like highlights. Messing with gradients again. I don't think I ended up keeping any of those gradients. But yeah, in the end, I just did grayscale and then went back to my comfort space of like cartoon shading, where I do like hard graphical shadows in this red, and then I set it to multiply, and it ended up looking nice. I like doing coloring this way. It's a lot more I don't know, I feel like I can control it a lot better. I'm not so good at doing like more painterly shadows. I feel like I always lose the thread a little bit. The presence of the moon and stars are always really important in these drawings. I don't know why I like them. I like the moon and stars. Who doesn't? I really like adding these like white outlines to my characters. It helps highlight like the subject when you have like a lot going on in your scene, like a lot of shapes or whatever. I feel like it's just really nice to give your character a little white outline. It kind of makes them feel like a sticker almost, like on top of the thing. I don't know. It's just it's a good look, and I like it. And then of course the shinies. The shinies are my favorite part. And then of course you make them glow. And it just, it's so good. I even added a couple of sparkles to the glass in this one. I thought that was a really nice touch. I feel like they could probably be a little bit more pronounced, maybe a little bit bigger, but I like it. Looks good. Again, though, I don't think there's enough red in this. I might go back and add back the like the red cloudiness that I had in my previous one. I still haven't quite figured out how to make good starscapes in Procreate yet. I think I just have to find a better brush for it. And then at the end, I just add a little bit of chromatic aberration and like a diffuse glow kind of effect. I did that trick where you take like a flat copy of the image, blur it out, and then reduce the opacity to like 10% or something to give your image like a nice like diffuse look, a really soft look. And that's always kind of like a nice touch. I like doing that. It's easy to overdo it. And then I tried a little bit of chromatic aberration on the final piece, and I think it turned out okay. The chromatic aberration might be a little bit much, but I don't think it's too bad when you're looking at it on like a small screen and everything. It's okay. And that's it. That's the finished piece. Thanks for hanging out. If you like this, maybe I'll do more videos like this in the future. I hope everyone's summer is going okay. Wear sunblock, stay hydrated, and I'll see you around.